Brazil's road to the next World Cup is slowly taking shape, and while much of the spotlight naturally falls on attacking stars and midfield creativity, one area is quietly becoming the center of intense debate: the center-back position. Who partners Gabriel Magalhães and Marquinhos? Can Eder Militao's injury-plagued career still earn him a World Cup spot? Will Brazil trust defenders from Serie A, or lean heavily on Europe-based names like Beraldo, Bremer, Murillo, and Ribeiro? These questions are no longer hypothetical. They are shaping real discussions inside Brazilian football, and the decisions made here could define Brazil's fate on the biggest stage of all. Because history has shown us one thing very clearly: Brazil does not lose tournaments only because it fails to score goals. It often loses them because it fails to protect its own box. Brazil is traditionally known as the land of flair, dribblers, and goal scorers. But in modern football, championships are built on balance. And right now, the Seleção's biggest strength might also turn into its biggest dilemma. The center-back position is stacked with talent, depth, and variety. There is no shortage of stars, leaders, physical monsters, or ball-playing defenders. But selecting the right combination is where the danger lies. A single mistake in this area can undo months of preparation, something Brazilian fans painfully remember from the past. The recent friendly defeat against Japan was a clear reminder. Defensive lapses at center-back directly led to goals conceded. Go back further to the 2014 World Cup, and Brazil suffered immensely due to the lack of reliable backup options in central defense. This time, the message from within the federation is clear. Brazil wants the very best of the best at center-back, with no compromises. If injuries and sudden collapses in form do not interfere, two names are almost guaranteed to be on the plane to the World Cup. The first is Gabriel Magalhaes. The Arsenal defender has evolved into one of the most complete center-backs in world football. His defensive positioning, aerial dominance, ball-carrying ability, and threat from set pieces make him incredibly difficult to replace. He is not just a defender who clears the ball. He starts attacks, dominates duels, and scores crucial goals from corners. In many ways, Gabriel represents the modern Brazilian defender. Physically imposing, technically secure, and tactically intelligent. At this moment, it is almost impossible to imagine Brazil lining up without him at the heart of defense. Alongside him stands Marquinhos, a name synonymous with leadership, consistency, and elite-level experience. While debates may arise about his peak years or occasional dips in form, his importance to Brazil goes beyond pure performance metrics. Marquinhos brings calm under pressure, positional awareness, and the kind of big tournament experience that cannot be taught. He has captained Paris Saint-Germain, played decisive Champions League knockout matches, and carried responsibility for both club and country. On the World Cup stage, where nerves often decide matches, Brazil will need his composure and authority. For that reason alone, Marquinhos remains a cornerstone of the Seleção's defensive plans. The real uncertainty begins with the third center-back spot, where Eder Militao's name dominates the conversation. On pure ability, Militao would already be confirmed. His pace, versatility, and aggressive defending make him one of the most complete defenders Brazil has produced in recent years. At Real Madrid, he has proven that he can perform on the biggest stages, sometimes even outshining more established names. However, injuries have repeatedly disrupted his momentum. Each time Militao seems ready to fully establish himself, his body betrays him. This recurring issue has turned his World Cup dream into a question mark. Everything now depends on his recovery, his ability to stay fit, and how much game time he receives in the coming months. Still, because he can play both center-back and right-back, and because on his best day he is among the world's elite, Militao remains firmly in the race. Behind him, the competition intensifies. Gabriel Bremer has re-entered the picture strongly after overcoming his own injury setbacks. The Juventus defender offers a different profile, physically dominant, aggressive in duels, and outstanding in aerial battles. Bremer is the type of defender coaches trust in knockout matches, where physical presence and defensive solidity often outweigh elegance. His performances in Serie A have kept him on the radar, and if Brazil wants a more traditional, no-nonsense center-back option, Bremer is a serious candidate. Then there is Murillo, one of the most exciting defensive prospects currently playing in Europe. The Nottingham Forest defender has attracted attention from major clubs, and rumors of a potential €100 million valuation in the Premier League underline just how highly he is rated. Murillo's strength lies not only in his physical tools, but also in his confidence on the ball and ability to step into midfield. He represents the new generation, fearless, composed, and ambitious. A strong season could push him ahead of more established names. Lucas Beraldo is another name that cannot be ignored. Already trusted at club level and within the national team environment, Beraldo's ball-playing ability sets him apart. Comfortable under pressure, capable of progressing the ball through lines, and tactically intelligent, he fits perfectly into a system that prioritizes possession and build-up from the back. His consistency, both at PSG and in international appearances, strengthens his case significantly. Alexsandro Ribeiro, currently playing for Lille, adds yet another layer to this crowded competition. Tall, athletic, and improving rapidly, Ribeiro has caught the attention of scouts and analysts alike. His aerial presence and defensive awareness make him an attractive option, particularly against physically dominant opponents. While he may not yet be a household name, World Cups have often been shaped by such surprise inclusions. Brazil's domestic league also continues to produce defenders worthy of consideration. Leo Ortiz has hovered around the national team setup and already has experience wearing the Seleção shirt. Fabricio Bruno and Flamengo's Danilo have both been called up multiple times under Carlo Ancelotti's watch. Their familiarity with Brazilian football culture, tactical discipline, and adaptability cannot be dismissed. Coaches often value players who understand the rhythm and pressure of South American football, especially in qualifiers and tournament environments. When all factors are considered, form, fitness, versatility, experience, and tactical balance, Brazil is likely to take 4 or 5 center backs to the World Cup. Gabriel Magalhaes and Marquinhos appear almost certain. Eder Militao's inclusion depends largely on his health, but if fit, he is very close to guaranteed. That leaves 1 or 2 spots open, most likely contested between Murillo, Beraldo, Alexsandro Ribeiro, and possibly Danilo. For others, the door is not entirely closed, but the margin for error is extremely small. Ultimately, the final decision will reflect what kind of Brazil Carlo Ancelotti wants to build. A Brazil that dominates possession? Then ball-playing defenders like Gabriel and Beraldo gain importance. A Brazil prepared for physical battles and defensive resilience? Then Bremer, Militao, and Ribeiro come into focus.